Is it up there? Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Happy Valentine's Day to all of you. So when I was looking to the date, I was like, what can I talk about, Valentine's Day? And I decided to talk about 5 steps for successful relationships. It's not 5 steps. That's something that I look at any book. It comes from me, from my experience. And also it comes from the concept of Spiritism. I've been married for 28 years, just to let you guys know. got married when I was 19 years old. Everybody thought that, oh, it's not going to work. You're too young. You're such a baby. And, all that comments that, people say. And sometimes they say that if you get married too early, is the bigger possibility of that marriage not to work. But I don't believe in that. Because I believe in work. I believe in a relationship that both parts do their parts to become successful. So this is all me. Okay, I brought you my experience tonight. Okay, that you're not gonna see this in any books, or you might, but I promise you I didn't copy. And there is no first, second, third. This one is like the first one that I'm gonna show it to you. It doesn't mean that that one is the number one. It's just important. Okay. So let's talk about this first one. Appreciation. Okay. In every relationship, we need to learn to appreciate each other. It's great to have gratitude. We talk about this all the time. The importance of the feeling of having gratitude towards life, gratitude towards God, gratitude towards the parents. But sometimes we forget to have gratitude towards your spouse, to someone that you love. So if you're not in a relationship, you can take this topic as how to relate it to a friend or anything like that. But this appreciation, it's not something. Because if you talk to every single couple, they're going to say, yes, I do appreciate what they do for me. But the problem is to show appreciation. It's what's missing in a relationship. Like, you can appreciate somebody, but if you don't show the appreciation, the person don't feel appreciated. Okay? So how can you show appreciation to somebody? Who can give me an idea here? How can this be done? Buy them flowers. There you go. Steven's romantic tonight. Buy them flowers. Okay, what else?
Cook for me.
Cook for you. What else? What else? Any idea?
What else?
Juan, tell me about how do you appreciate Cynthia? How do you express that?
Saying thanks.
Saying thank you. Okay. All right. What else?
Apologizing.
Apologizing. Okay. What else? Who else have anything? Luciana, how do you appreciate Scott?
Listening.
Listening. There you go. What else?
I appreciate when he let me do the things I like to do.
What do you say? Thank you?
I say, oh, thank you. Read my book.
Okay. Let me show you. Let me tell you one thing. Who can appreciate a phone call after 10 years of marriage, for example? Okay? One thing is when you get a phone call from somebody that you love, your husband or your wife, when you're starting a relationship. Okay? But usually, after a while, you make a phone call and the person answers the phone like this. What? Fast. Can't. And, you know, it just like shows that they have no what? Appreciation for the phone call that the person is giving it to you. And that creates a problem in a relationship. Okay? There was one little secret that I wanted to share with you that I heard a long time ago, and it really works. And in every single relationship, you need to treat your wife or your husband as a visitor. How's that? So when a visit comes to your house, what do you usually say? Hi, how are you? How was your day? Right? If somebody calls you, if a friend calls you, you're going to say, hey, you're going to be nice, right? So why you're not nice to the person that is next to you? Why, if I call you, you answer, hi, Yonara, how are you? But if your spouse call you, you're going to say, yes, what? What's going on? Fast. You see? And this, what happens is when you be married for 6 months, a year or so, after a while it gets old. So that type of behavior shows that you don't appreciate the other person. Now, we talk about how can we appreciate, but who can give me examples when you don't appreciate the other person next to you, your spouse? It's not only, you can say that you appreciate, but what are the attitudes that sometimes you do it that shows the opposite? What else? Say again, Anna. Body language. There was one thing. Body language can be one thing. What else?
When I curse, he doesn't like me to use these words.
Okay. Cursing. Okay, it's a show of non-appreciation. What else?
Like you do something that the other person doesn't like. I think that's a sacrifice in a relationship, you know what I mean? Because you're used to do something and then you don't do it in respect or because you don't know, because the other person doesn't like it, so you try to refrain yourself from doing something, but it's not invading, like it's not like a major sacrifice, but it's in respect. It's not putting myself low.
Okay.
Like bark.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah. Let's see for an example, like whoever cooks at the house, you know, how many times do we say thank you for the food? And how many times we say this is delicious, even though that sometimes not that good. You know, it's okay, you know, but you choose to compliment the effort that the person took it to actually cook that meal for you. And those are little signs of appreciation that it's very important to have. Very, very important. And every relationship, we need that. We need to say, great job, thank you, you're amazing, you rock, you're good to me. You know, because this is like feeding the positive sides. And everything that you feed tends to grow. So if you keep criticizing only, and the only thing you do is criticize the person that you are next to it, they're also going to grow on the negative side. So it's good to bring appreciation to the family, appreciation even to the kids, to the family in general. This is a very good feeling to have, okay? So in every relationship, this is something that is just like a little plant. You know, when you have a little plant, you just need to water that little plant every day so the little plant can grow. Love is exactly the same thing. Through appreciation, you like feeding that love. Because one thing that most couples, the big mistakes that people make is that when to conquer somebody, to make that person fall in love with you, it's very easy. Easiest part, keep that person in love with you, is the hardest part. Okay? So, and the biggest mistake we make is like, okay, oh, he loves me, she loves me already, now I can do whatever I want, I can just be rude, I can do, you know, I don't have to get pretty anymore, or even to brush my teeth or my hair or anything. People make those type of mistakes. You know, they think because they're already with you, that they're gonna be with you forever. Okay, so people fell in love all the time, but people also fell out of love. And this is because of behaviors, attitudes. Okay, so keep the person in love with you. Is wonderful, it's worth it, it's a lot of work, but it's beautiful. And it's hard, so keep that in mind. You have to keep that person in love with you, and you have to do things in order for that person to be in love with you. You cannot just be rude all the time, and a few things that we're going to talk about it, okay? So appreciation in every single thing. I talk to couples that don't even say good morning to each other anymore. Simple. Good morning. When you come back, how was your day? Little things. Okay? Little things. And for the men, you need to compliment your spouse. You need to say how beautiful she looks. You need to say, you are amazing. I love your dress tonight. Look at the shoes. Wow, you look so hot today. Okay? And we can do that too. We can also say, wow, look at that handsome guy over there. It's important to do that. Okay? That also shows what? Appreciation. You see sometimes the wife, you know, she's there, she's doing her best, she put the best clothes that she had, and the men look at it and don't say anything. Anything. Okay? So in order to keep that little flame, it's good to compliment each other. It's good to say things like, wow, you know, you look amazing tonight. You just look amazing tonight. Who likes to hear that?
Thank you.
Everybody, right? Yes. So why not? And I'm going to tell something here. This is my experience here and this area. When it comes to compliment, that is something that my husband always did it to me. Always, until up to this date. I have to tell you this, guys, because I told you this is my experience that I'm bringing to you tonight. There is not even one single day since we'll be married and I don't go out, that we don't go out, or I just put a clothes to come to center and he doesn't compliment that. Okay, so that is important. That is very important. I'm talking to you like for you to realize that this is something that needs to be done. Okay? Don't forget. It can go both ways, okay? Don't forget that. Ever. Stephen, get that? Okay.
I always tell you I like your shoes.
Thank you. He does. He always tells me that the shoes that I walk in, he's like, oh, I like that one. Okay. So, number 2, not in importance, but forgiveness. Okay? Every relationship needs to forgive. Because you think about There's two imperfect beings trying to live together. And yes, we're going to hurt each other sometimes. And yes, we're going to say stuff that we don't mean it. And yes, some things is going to happen. But you need to forgive. Now, when I'm talking about forgive, I'm not talking about I'm just going to let it go. I'm not going to pay attention to the say. No, I'm talking about the real forgiveness. Real forgiveness. And one of the problems that we see in a relationship is that couples are trying to compete to see who's right and wrong. No, I'm right. No, I'm right. No, but you did that, and I'm right. No, I'm right. And then, who wants to be happy? If you want to be right, you're not going to be happy. Because it's not about being right. It's about being happy. And sometimes I see in a lot of relationships that people don't pay attention to forgiveness and don't realize what forgiveness is. And somebody did something, they're still in a relationship, but they don't forgive. The fact that you're still with somebody, that you're still married with somebody, it doesn't mean that you forgave that person. You can be married for years without forgiving. And of course, when you do that, the relationship tends to be a little difficult. Okay? So, forgiveness is when you understand that the other person also makes mistakes. They're not perfect. And we have this thing that we want it to be perfect, and we don't realize that we also want other people to be perfect with us. And they're not. And forgiveness is something that we need every single day. It's not on a big event, it's on a small events also. Forgiveness is for the souls that understand that the person that is with you are going to make mistakes. Not because they want to. It's just because it's part of our nature. As human beings, we make mistakes all the time. All the time. And when you need to forgive that person is when you have your heart full of compassion, because you do understand their weakness. And when you want that person to be perfect with you all the time, if you have that mindset and you get disappointed too easily, it's because you don't understand human beings. We do make mistakes. Now, there is all kinds of mistakes. There are mistakes that are huge mistakes, or small mistakes. It doesn't matter. If you want to stay in a relationship, it doesn't work without forgiveness. It doesn't. Okay? So it is important. Let's forgive each other all the time. Forgive, it doesn't mean that you stay with that person. Forgiveness is that you really let it go. Really let it go. And one of the things that is very important in a relationship, believe it or not, is altruism. Why? Because the biggest problems we have is when we are too selfish and we want to do things our ways only. It's not like the other person matters at all. We want to do the things only on our ways. So I brought this quote from Martin Luther King that said, every man must decide whenever he will walk in the light of creating altruism or in the darks of destructive selfishness. And in a relationship, we can actually do that. We can actually do that. And we can actually do this one too. When do we create altruism in a relationship? When we think about the other too, without forgetting about yourself. But you think what the other person likes to do once in a while. It's not only what you like. And the relationship is so important because inside of the relationship, you can learn how to be less selfish. You can use your relationship to build altruism in the relationship and outside of the relationship. There is a lot of people that see the necessity to build altruism outside of the family, but don't see the necessity to build that in the family, in a relationship. And I see this as a huge problem when I talk to couples, because there is always somebody that is doing everything and the other person is not doing any work. It's all about me, 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 what I want to do, what I think it's right, the way I think is the way that it's right. And this destroys a relationship because you are so selfish even in the way that you think. Because if you think that you are always right, there is something wrong with you. Nobody can be always right. There's going to be situations that, yes, you're going to be wrong. Unless you're supposed to be living in Jupiter and somebody just drop you here in planet Earth. So you can be a missionary and tell everybody how to do it. No, you're here. You belong here. Okay? And when you build altruism, you are fighting against selfishness.
It also, I think, creates a new energy in a relationship because you are observing ways to promote happiness.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's very well put. Yes, you are. And when you're not only thinking about your needs, okay, you're not only thinking about what makes you happy, you also thinking about what makes the other person happy. So your attitudes are different. One thing that I want to talk about this is when you have kids also. And then some people think that when you have kids, the kids are the most important thing in your life. It's not. Okay? How many couples after the kids grow out and they go to college, they break up? You know why? Because they don't build the relationships between them. They think the kids are the most important thing. The kids are important. But your wife is also important. Your husband is also important. There is nothing that is more important than you and your spouse. The kids are very important, and so are you. And so are your spouse. Everybody has the same importances. in a family. Not one is more important than the other. No, everybody is important. Okay, and the tendency is to forget one and give the whole importance to the others. Big mistakes. Okay, when you build altruism, you build the importance of the family in general. Everybody is important. Okay? And this one, okay? Acceptances. I put it as this because I thought it was cute. This says, I don't want you to change to be more like me. I love me because I'm like me, but I love you because you're like you. And that is true love. Isn't it cute? Yeah. This is so cute, and this is so true also, because we need to accept each other. Your partner are never going to be the person that you want them to be. They are just going to be themselves. Okay, stop with the illusion that you think you're going to change someone. You might be so controlled that you actually change that person, but guess what's going to happen? You're going to lose interest sooner or later, because what you like, it's exactly what you saw at first. So you don't get to try to mold that person so that person becomes more like you, because you're going to lose interest. I see that all the time. All the time. You love a person because you love her. Doesn't matter. So if you don't accept, okay, the person, now you have a choice. You might look at it and say, you know what? No. I'm not going to accept that person. For all the means, if that's your choice, then go ahead. But if you're going to keep in a relationship, you have to work on this. You see the difference? If you choose not to accept a person, you get divorced, or you tell the person, see you later, that's fine. You have that choice. But at the moment that you start and you want a relationship with that person, work on this. Okay? And we have two things to talk about. You can talk about self-acceptances. Is that when you start to accept yourself just the way you are, okay? And when you start to accept the other person just the way they are. So let's see how this works on the Disney Channel movie, because we all do that, you know? We think we're going to find this prince that's going to come on a white horse and it's going to make us so happy, right? And we actually do that. We actually do that. We bring that into a relationship. We do that. And then the prince is not that prince. The prince burps. The prince, you know.
It's really a frog.
Yeah. It's a frog. And then you say, oh my God, you know. And you either accept the frog and live with the frog, because this is what happens. A couple starts to go and they start dating and everything's so wonderful, and they get married, whatever. And then when the person is being themselves, you know, there is this, oh, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't say that, you shouldn't laugh that loud, you shouldn't, you know, and you try to say, well, you know, you are you, and I am me. Okay, that's why we have this problem with this theory of the other half. You know, you're looking to somebody to complete you. You complete me. And that does not exist. That does not exist. You know, you have two wonderful beings that is trying to be together, and both of you need to work hard in order to the relationship to work. Okay? And one of the things that we need to work is when it comes to the, oh, I forgot, it's missing one. Sorry about that. It's missing one. I'm gonna talk about. I don't know why. I think when I create this in Apple, something happened. I missing one slide. That the last one that I'm gonna talk about it is the. I even asked Stephen. Emotional honesty. Do you guys know what that is? Okay. No. When you need to be honest with each other. You need to be honest about your feelings. And that comes one very important thing. That is the conversations that you need to have. You talk about everything, but you don't talk about your feelings. You don't talk about what's going on inside of you. You don't talk about how was that when you said that I got hurt. You know, you just let it go. And then you are feeling very frustrated, but in order for you not to create a bigger problem, you decide not to talk about it. Big mistake. There is a Russian poet that asked his wife to marry him, and he asked that way, do you want to talk with me for the rest of your life? Do you want to talk to me for the rest of your life? And it's basically this. Because at the moment that you stop to talk to each other, is the moment that things starts to go on the wrong path. And I see people that said, okay, I am afraid to talk to my partner because I think that we're gonna fight. And I don't wanna say things because everything that I say becomes a fight, becomes a problem. Now what is that we need to learn how to do it? We need to learn how to talk. Not talking, it's not going to help, it's going to make it worse. Not tell the person how you feel, it's not going to make it better. Pretend that if everything is okay, it's not going to make it better. It's going to bring a bigger problem in the future. But when you start to talk, I'm going to show you one way that you guys can do that. Because the problem is not talk. The problem is how to talk. Okay? What is the biggest mistake that we do when we talk? We usually say, you did this to me. You are whatever it is that we want to put. And every time that you start a phrase or a conversation and you started with a you, you're going to accuse it. And the person is going to feel like they have to defend themselves. So it becomes an accusation, and then the other person is trying to defend themselves, and after literally 3 seconds, nobody's listening to each other. Both parties are trying to defend themselves. The person is going to try to defend what you say, and the other person is going to try to defend what you think they're saying, and then it's going to start the conversation, and that will turn into a fight, for sure, 100%. Okay? So every time that you want to talk to somebody that you love, you start with the word I. Okay? I. You don't pay attention to me anymore. Look the difference when you say, I feel that you are not paying attention to me anymore. See? Completely different. So you always, because then what you're trying to communicate with that person, you're trying to communicate your feelings. You're not trying to accuse them of anything. And another thing is when you learn how to talk about feelings instead of the events. Okay? If you are a person that are jealous, for example, and you see your partner talking to someone, you're going to go up to that person, going to say, you know what, you're this, you're talking to that person. But if you say, you were talking to that person and I felt jealousy. You didn't do anything to provoke that to me. I'm just sharing with you the way that I feel. If we talk about feelings, okay, what happens is we use events to give an excuse to talk about the way we feel. Do you guys get that? We use the events, okay, to talk about the things that we feel, and we give excuses to it. Okay? Sometimes we get mad of our spouse just because we think that they are not paying attention to us anymore. But we don't say that. We just get mad. It's one example that happens all the time. So, for a relationship to work, you have to be emotionally honest with each other. Let me talk to you about how I feel. But it's not what you do. Because to be honest with you, that the person might be crazy about you and you don't feel the love. Right? It happens all the time. You don't feel like that person loves you, but he or she is crazy about you. If you don't learn how to express that and say, listen, I don't feel that you are paying too much attention to me, for an example, you're going to resolve the problem. You're going to have a healthier relationship because you are learning to express your feelings. Okay? And sometimes it's important to go in and say to that person, you know, it's not that I don't love you, but I'm just not happy right now with our relationship. Why? Why are you not happy? And then you're going to talk about feelings. Because I always starts with her eyes. I feel this, I feel that, I feel this. Pretending that everything is okay, you can only pretend for a while. I can give you a few years of pretending. And after that, you can't take it anymore. You cannot pretend for a long time. right? Okay. So I want to tell you something, and this comes from the bottom of my heart. Relationships are not difficult. The things that you say, that everybody says out there, oh, it's so hard to stay married. It's not, right, Stanley?
66 years.
60 years. It's not hard. It's not. It's not difficult. You just have to open your mind and do the things that you're supposed to in order to make that relationship flows. Now, both parties has to do that, not only one. Because if only one does, then it's not going to work. But if you honestly think, that your relationship, you want them to work, you're going to have to work. Don't just sit there and be you without changing, because sometimes, I'm sorry, it's not enough. It's not enough. What happens when you walk in a relationship and you believe that it's very hard? It's going to be hard. Any little problem that you have, you're going to interpret that problem like it's huge. I'm telling you, it's not hard. It's actually easy. It is. Don't laugh. It is easy. But, every relationship, you have to build the love of a relationship. If you ask me, you say, Yonara, do you love your husband the same as you did when you first got married? I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm going to say no. Because now I love him more. It's obvious. I can't compare the love that we had when we first got married and then the love that we have now. Because this is what you have to do. You have to get the water and you have to plant the water. Every little things that we said there. Appreciation, forgiveness. You have to apply that on your daily life. And it's something that you do when you wake up, and it's something that you do when you go to sleep. Red flags. No good mornings, no good night, no kisses anymore when you see each other. Okay, those are signs that you are growing apart. And you don't want to do that. You want to be close together. That's what you want to do. And for some people, relationships are very easy. Believe it or not. And the difference is that the people that find relationship easier are people that work and do their part to make that relationship. Stanley, can you live happily with a person for your whole life? Yes?
What was the question?
Ask him, Luciana. Can you live with a person happily for...
Yes.
Yes. You see?
My wife's not over
No, I know. I'm asking this thing because he was married for 66 years old, and every time he said that for 66 years old, not that he didn't have problems, but he was happy in his marriage for 66 years. So it's possible to be happy in a relationship. Let's not listen to whatever they're saying, that those people that are so negative, that it doesn't work, it's no good, It's impossible. You can only love each other. You can only love a person for that many years. No. Believe in love. That's the message that we have it here tonight. Believe that it's possible, because love is a wonderful thing. Thank you. And yes, we can.
I think this lecture was a Valentine's gift to